All right, now you're good.
Yep, we're good.
All right. 30.
From Cleveland's most accurate weather team, this is 19 First Alert Plus. Sponsored by the man that makes them pay, Tim Misney.
Hello there, and welcome to your First Alert forecast here. Jeff Slauson and Erica Page. Normally we go through a little bit of pleasantries and some jokes, but there's quite a bit going on here, Erica, so I want to just kind of toss this thing right to the First Alert weather day that we have for tonight into Saturday. All of us here in the newsroom are bracing. I know that you in the weather office, you guys have been really working your butts off here, so please go ahead.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very high impact storm system. And, normally when we talk about these systems, we're, usually focused on one area versus another. And to some degree, that will be the case with this one as well. But pretty much everybody has an opportunity to pick up on several inches of snow. So let's kind of talk through, especially the timeline of when we can anticipate this. So tonight, especially, this is when we're going to start to see things ramping up. Not through the evening. If you have evening outdoor plans, if you want to maybe, go to the grocery store, get a couple things, if you don't plan on wanting to drive when we have several inches of snow on the ground, I don't blame you. Truly, I think if you can limit travel through the day tomorrow at all possible, I would definitely do that. It's going to really start to ramp up, I would say, from west to east. About 10 to 11 o'clock tonight, that's when it starts, and then you're really going to be in the full swing of things once we get past midnight. Everybody's going to be talking about some pretty heavy snow because at this point, the wind hasn't picked up. Winds will pick up as we go through the day on Friday, so while the wind is relatively light tonight, everything that's falling is basically just going to stick and it's going to blanket northeast Ohio, and that's why we're concerned with such high totals ramping up as we go through the overnight tonight. I think about 1 inch to 4 inches possible through that initial wave, and then we'll continue to see more snow piling on top of all of that through the day tomorrow. And then beyond that, we have lake enhancement. So we will get some lake enhancement closer to the lake shore. That's going to kind of boost some of those snowfall totals overnight tonight and even through the day on Friday. But then once that lake effect takes over, we're talking additional snowfall accumulation for mainly our primary snow belt, but we'll have to watch to see where exactly some of those bands set up and how quickly those winds veer from north, more so northwest, which will then push those lake effect bands into the far eastern portions of our snow belt. So over a foot of snow, quite possible for many locations, especially if you live closer to the lake shore. This is going to be a high impact day, and I do anticipate if schools haven't already likely called off for tomorrow, we will likely see those closures starting to roll in because truthfully, you really shouldn't be out traveling in this if you don't have to be. These are the winter weather alerts that we have posted, so you can see everybody in those purple shaded counties. You are under the winter weather advisory. Farther to the north, we have the winter storm warning. There is different criteria for that, which is why there's a difference in both of those. Regardless of where you're at, though, we are anticipating quite a bit of snowfall. Here's your snowfall tracker. This will take you through tonight, through the day tomorrow, and I wouldn't necessarily always get locked in on where exactly we're seeing some of these higher totals, though I do think we will see a maximum out to the west before we eventually see this translate eastward. But notice that everybody outside of the primary snow belt, Akron, Canton, Dover, New Philly, even out towards the Warren area, you're still having the potential of picking up at least 4 inches of snow, if not potentially more. It really just depends on how heavy that burst comes in as we look through the overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. So this is why we're saying this is a high impact event for pretty much everybody. So where is this system in general right now? If you've stepped out today, if you've looked outside, you've seen some of those flurries flying, that's actually a completely different system that's been rolling through. We'll zoom things in. You can see those scattered snow showers starting to exit our region. Generally, it's been more of what I call a pretty snow. It hasn't really accumulated to a whole lot, though some locations certainly have seen some accumulation, but we haven't seen a lot of the headaches that usually accompany waves of snow moving through northeast Ohio. So this is a pretty low impact event for us. As we zoom this picture out, though, you can actually see the beginning of two different systems. One down to the south. This is going to help pull in some of that richer moisture into northeast Ohio, and then it's going to team up with this colder, more Arctic air mass out to the west. And as they basically combine right over our state, that's what's going to really enhance our snowfall totals as we go through the day tomorrow. So here's future view, and I want to kind of walk you through what you can expect through the rest of the day today. You notice things are pretty quiet. Sure, we may have a couple more flurries trying to develop closer to the lakeshore, but I really don't think this is going to be high impact for us, at least this evening. Once we get past 10, 11 o'clock tonight, you're starting to see that system work in from the west. And you notice how dark blue some of those colors are. That indicates some of that heavier snowfall moving through our area. And as we go through several hours through the early morning time frame of Friday, notice how we don't really get much of a break. And we have this little bit of lake enhancement that's occurring. And let me see if I can actually pause this here for a moment. All right. So if you see this right here, that's what we mean by lake enhancement. So Lake Erie is helping us out basically this time of the year. And what it's doing is it's helping to boost up those snowfall totals. So and sometimes it could add an extra inch or two closer for areas to the lakeshore or wherever that band is being focused than say some of our other inland locations that are just seeing a widespread still heavy snow across northeast Ohio. All right, let's take you through the rest of the morning, 7, 8 o'clock, still dealing with some of that heavy snow. And you'll notice it's not really dying off too quickly for us. So this is why we're saying this is such a long duration, high impact event for most of northeast Ohio, though I do think the focus as we go through the later part of the afternoon and eventually into the evening will be more so the lakeshore. Those winds are coming in out of the north. Any help from Lake Huron could certainly make a couple more of those bands a bit more robust. And we're going to continue to track the lake effect. Late Friday night, headed into early Saturday, though as those winds are starting to change direction, and you can kind of see that with how those bands are translating more eastward, that is going to help focus some more lake effect snow opportunities for us headed into the day on Saturday. But look at where your temperatures are. At 8 o'clock in the morning, places like Norwalk and Mansfield, you're at 4 degrees. Factor in the wind, which will still be gusty at times, it's going to feel more so like minus 15. So there are so many different components to this that we are going to have to track as we go through the next 48 hours or so before this system finally leaves and we catch a little bit of a break headed into the weekend. But definitely stay up to date with the latest forecasts, because as we continue to get a better idea, mainly of how that lake effect will really set up for us into the second half of Friday and especially into Saturday, that will really kind of drastically change potentially how much more snow some folks could see. I think blanketed, again, 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches, not off the table for a lot of us, but then we are talking that more so 6 to potentially a foot, if not even a little bit more than that, once you add in some of the lake effect snow through the day on Saturday.
All right, Erica, quick break, come back. We'll look at that 7-day.
I've represented families just like yours for over 4 decades. Listen, if you need me, call me. You know I'll be there for you, and I'll make them pay. In the meantime, I'll keep an eye out for you.
All right, we are back.
Yeah, I realize I threw a lot at you all with the forecast here over the last 5-ish minutes that we've been on, but this is a very complicated forecast in terms of how many different pieces that we are going to have to watch. So yes, cold air is certainly going to be one key component to it, especially second half of the event. The primary window for us to see snow will really be late tonight through at least midday on Friday. Once we get into the afternoon, we will start to see those snow showers become a bit more scattered, but again, in pockets, and especially if you live closer to the lakeshore where that winter storm warning is in effect, you will still be dealing with periods of heavy snow. Then the lake effect will mainly kind of impact mostly our primary snow belt, I think, once we get into Saturday before things will taper off Saturday night. You'll see temperatures by this point then are starting to improve through the second half of the weekend, so that should give you some time to dig out a little bit if you need to prior to heading to work, heading to school on Monday. But early next week, there's another system that has our attention, and it's on Tuesday. And you'll notice we have rain, but it's also mixing with potentially some freezing rain. That is something we are going to have to watch to see if that trend holds. Temperatures, at least through the first half of the day, will likely be close to freezing, so that may be another potentially impactful weather day for us that we'll have to keep an eye on. Otherwise, beyond that, any precip that will fall Wednesday into Thursday does look to be more so in the form of rain, but we are keeping on this pretty active track even into next week.
All right, Erica, thank you so much. We will let you go and see you at 3 o'clock.
Sounds good. See you then.
That is it for your First Alert forecast. 19 News, 3 o'clock over on CBS.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart TV. Search for channel 1035.